back to my channel. It's been a long couple of days, but I finally finished making today's mukbang food, which is Shakshuka pizza because it is Pi Day, March 14th. I've decided I kind of want to try to go lower carb more often than not, and I didn't try the Fathead pizza crust when I was on keto, so I thought now would be a good time. And it's also worth mentioning that there's not like a whole bunch of mozzarella cheese on top. I did add some goat cheese, but the mozzarella cheese is in the crust, so it's kind of like a reverse pizza. And another thing I want to mention is this Fathead crust usually is topped with things that are not eggs that need to be cooked all the way through. So this crust got a little bit darker than I would have liked, but it should hold up just fine if you're adding regular toppings that just need to heat up or melt. That being said, let's eat. This is gonna be more like crackery, like flatbready, which I think will be really nice because the textural contrast will be there, right? So you have the crunch from the crust and then everything else in the center is kind of soft. Gonna have to set this all the way down to cut it. Eee. Oh gosh, it looks so good. I don't want to cut directly into the egg. Really planned that out badly. And per usual, guys, the macros for this entire pizza will be in the description below, along with the recipes, like where I got them from, where they're adapted from. All right, let's get into it, and then I can tell you about the past couple of days. Oh my gosh, this is a massive slice. It's holding up really well, eh? The yolks are cooked a little bit more on this one and this one than I would have preferred, but I honestly love when yolk is kind of like buttery also. So that's kind of what these are at right now. This one is definitely a bit more liquidy. All right, New York Times Shakshuka recipe plus Fathead protein pizza crust together. Oh my gosh, that cilantro is so fresh and it goes so well with all the spices and the tomato sauce, the paprika and the cumin. I absolutely am obsessed with all the onions and the peppers. I just love that they're like melted down into it. So you get a little bit of onion and a little bit of pepper in every single bite. The crust is surprisingly satisfying. It's kind of like shortbready underneath, but again, around the edges, it's kind of crispy, so maybe a happy mistake. The crust by itself can eat a little dry. That might be because I overcooked it. It kind of smells like Indian food. This is actually the first time that I'm having shakshuka. I have done baked eggs in a tomato sauce before, but this particular dish, it comes from the Mediterranean region, Middle Eastern region, and actually North Africa is apparently where the eggs got put in. And it definitely feels exotic when you're eating it, just the spices in it. So I used to hate cilantro, like I hated it, and my mother still hates it. I used to think it tasted like soap. And I decided after seeing cilantro on so many delicious things that I didn't want to not like it. So I just kept eating it until I liked it. and now I like it. I don't know how that works, but I've done it with a few different foods. I think you just have to really be determined. You have to like suffer through a few times before you're actually able to see some benefit out of it. So the past 2 days were super interesting. Yesterday, I actually made this whole pizza and shot myself cooking it. And I got sidetracked putting my macros into the macro app that I have. And I had turned the broiler on because the eggs weren't cooking quickly enough and I didn't want the crust to burn. So I put the broiler on and I'm putting my macros in, and then the oven beeps to say that it's come to full temperature for the broiler. It was completely scorched. Like the whole thing was burned. And it's like, yeah, I was pissed, really pissed. But I feel like I've gotten a lot better at not getting like super duper angry. I just got into a mode of, okay, what do I need to do now? I don't know how you guys are with that. I used to just like throw fits, like intentionally be in bad moods if something terrible happened like that. That just like ruined the day or screwed up my plans or whatever. But I was just like, okay, basically what I had to do, since this was gonna be my one meal yesterday and I was supposed to go to an event tonight, I'm like, well, I think I'm gonna need to eat earlier tomorrow. And since I'm intermittent fasting, I was like, well, I have to eat all of my food right now, like right after the food burn. So I just took all the leftovers out of my refrigerator and ate all of them. Like I ate 2,000 calories and then I went immediately to the gym and I worked out and it actually like was fine. I wasn't like nauseous or feeling like I was gonna throw up or anything like that. Get that yolk butter. So yeah, I ate all my calories. Then I was like, oh, I'll redo the dough and I'll remake the sauce last night. And then I was gonna edit the whole first part of this video last night. And then I got home from the gym and I was like, man, screw all that. I don't feel like doing anything right now. So my fiance and I watched part 2 of the Michael Jackson documentary, which if you haven't seen it, holy shit. I really do love the crunchy crust. It's a little dry, but as long as you're eating it with the other toppings, the flavor is great. It tastes like deep brown flavored food. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but you know when you brown food, it has more flavor. That's what it tastes like. Anyways, so today I slept through my alarm, or rather I turned it off while I was still sleeping somehow. Woke up at the time that I had meant to go to the gym because I'd read that my gym had a 9:30 class. So I like booted out the door, get to the gym at like 9:45. They were closed. So I came back here and I was like, all right, I guess I have to do both my workouts tomorrow. I was gonna do the workout tonight or this morning because I had an event to go to tonight. So come back here and I remake the dough, I remake the sauce. I'm like starting to edit the first part of the video so that I don't have to eat until a little later for my fasting schedule. And then I got a message saying that the event was basically not happening anymore. And the other hilarious part is that we were invited to this event, which was a Top Chef finale. And we were like 10 episodes behind, or like some large amount of episodes behind. So Shane and I literally made a point to watch all of them in the past like 4 or 5 days. Pretty hilarious, right? Oh my gosh, guys, my leg is falling asleep. It's asleep. Come back, come back, come back. All right, I'm gonna have to sit like this, which probably looks exactly the same to you. So back to the Michael Jackson documentary. I feel like people are like pretty divided on this. I'm having a tough time with it though. Like, I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. I love his music. Like, I love it. I grew up with it. There's certain songs that just like bring back really good memories. And so I have like those connections made between the songs, like Free Willy, the Free Willy song. Me and my producer from Guys Big Project were just talking about it like last night or the night before. And Black or White, Free Willy, The Way You Make Me Feel. There's just certain songs that like when I hear them, I'm like so happy. And now I feel so conflicted because either he did everything that they're saying he did, and if that's the case, then I'm not sure how I'm supposed to listen to his music the same way ever again. Or all of these people conspired to take down his estate. And if that's true, then it's the best acting job that I've ever seen. Like, HBO's on board with it. Both of these guys have come forward and like, think about how difficult their lives are because they've said all of that. With their families, they're both married with children. Their relationships with their mothers, like the relationship with the rest of their family, people that are like obsessed with Michael Jackson, like send them death threats. Like, by doing this, they're like making their lives way more difficult. Not to mention, telling everybody something like that, like, that's a pretty big deal to go that in depth into something. And if you've seen it, you know what I mean. It's very difficult to listen to the details, especially if you have kids or you plan to have kids. You have like nieces or nephews that are like close to that age. It's just unbelievable. I think too, it's really interesting to see that, again, if it is true, how kids really don't see what the situation is, like the big picture of a situation. They're caught up in something. Kids want to please you. Kids want to be accepted. Kids want to be loved. And again, if it's true, they were getting all of that from Michael. And And it completely screwed them up for the rest of their lives because they just were left wanting and wanting and wanting, like, and if he didn't want them anymore, then they felt like they were worthless. And oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine how screwed up somebody must be. Like, how are you supposed to have a normal relationship ever again? So, I don't know. For me, I feel like it's too many things to not be believable. Especially, like, all the people in his house. I mean, assuming that every single person is trying to, like, be a part of this lawsuit and get money from it, I suppose it's plausible. But he literally, like, there's phone records and witnesses that have him being dropped off at kids' houses for sleepovers. Like, a 30-something-year-old full-grown man having sleepovers with 10-year-old boys 30 days in a row. Like, even if your kid wants to hang out with somebody his own age, that's weird. 30 days in a row. And he would stay on the phone with Michael for like 6 hours at a time. What could you possibly have in common with a 10-year-old to have 6 hours worth of content conversationally? I get that a lot of people say that, oh, he didn't have a childhood. He was basically like a child in his 30s. There's plenty of other kids that didn't have childhoods, that grew up, they're child stars, that didn't grow up being a 10-year-old still. And even so, like, you deal with cultural things, with societal things that are age specific. Your mind develops. You think a different way when you're 30-something years old. And granted, like, yeah, there's some psychopaths in the world that don't think the same, but like, hello? Even if you're taking into consideration, oh yes, like he was very childlike, he had all these issues, isn't it more believable then that he was able to do this kind of stuff? Because it's not normal. And people that aren't normal do weird things, or inappropriate things, or bad things. Sometimes. And again, like, we'll never know for certain. And I try to, weigh both sides of it in my mind because, like, I want to enjoy his music. I want to continue enjoying it. I just feel like a moral obligation now not to, which is, like, just really sad. I have nothing against anyone who feels one way or the other because, like, how do you even decide how to feel about that if you're a huge Michael Jackson fan? Shane and I still have to watch the Oprah special. Which is also on HBO. So I'm really curious what she's gonna have to say about it. This is really good, guys. I think for me, the next time I make this, I actually really like that the crust is kind of darker. It's not a normal crust. I'm fine with it being more like a flatbread. So I'll probably cook the crust by itself a little bit longer and then add the toppings, like regular toppings, and just pop it under the broiler for a minute or two. Just have to be careful about any crust that's still exposed getting too dark. Something you can do to prevent the crust getting too dark is you can actually wrap it in tin foil. You can just cover the outside of the crust in tin foil if you're worried about it getting too dark. And you know, maybe that's something that I should have done here. And to be honest, I literally just had an epiphany about that. So next time. All right, guys, well, I'm actually pretty full. This whole pizza was about 22 or 2,300 calories. My daily allowance right now, because I'm bulking, is about 2,200. That's very specific for me. So just because I say that I'm having 2,200 calories does not mean you should have 2,200 calories. I'm on the Blake diet right now. And so he has a whole program. Basically, you join the program and he tells you how to intermittent fast for your lifestyle and your goals. My goals are I want to gain muscle and then I want to lose fat. So he's told me what I should eat on a daily basis, and my coach actually has been telling me what I should eat on a daily basis. And because I'm not really working out today, I know I want to get enough protein in my system still so that I can like maintain a muscle mass, because your muscles continue to build for like a day or two after you work them out. So I just wanted to get some protein, and I kind of wanted to stay at a slight calorie deficit because I won't be able to work out this afternoon. But for you, your body type, your weight, your height, your goals, everything, everybody's different. Everybody responds differently to fats and carbs and protein and everything too. So it's really not a one size fits all plan. I'll put my, I have a discount code if you guys are interested. If not, totally fine. But if you would like to maybe explore what the Blake diet can do for you, just hit the link below in the description and just reach out to Blake. He's super, super nice. He's got like a Facebook group, like a forum where you can go and ask a bunch of questions, really figure out what's going to be best for you. And then you can eat basically whatever you want within those constraints. It's not like a dairy-free, gluten-free, low-carb. I mean, you can have like sugar and everything bad for you. I mean, obviously your body's going to respond best when you're eating whole foods that are not processed and everything. But the point is that you shouldn't have to limit yourself. And if you want cake, you have cake. You just make sure that you're keeping track of what that cake is in relation to macros and calories, and that you add up to the right amount of calories and macros at the end of the day. And just to touch back on this, I really, really loved it. I told you what I would do differently with the crust next time. I don't think I would do anything differently with the sauce. Traditionally, this is eaten as just like the tomato sauce in a cast iron skillet. You crack some eggs into it and it basically poaches in the tomato sauce in the oven. So I really look forward to trying it the traditional way, but this was really, really awesome. And when I do decide to make it the traditional way, I will definitely be using this recipe by the New York Times. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're not following me on Instagram, here's my handle at @the_hunger_diaries. I have tons of different content there than you see on YouTube, a lot of short eating videos, and basically all of like behind the scenes of my life is in my Instagram stories. So if any of that interests you, you can follow me there. And of course, I would love for you to follow me here on YouTube. I love to taste test and review other people's recipes, create my own recipes. I love to review food out and about. I love to try products and review those. And my main thing is just to be super duper honest with you about how things taste, about what I like, what I don't like, so that you can better decide if you want to try a certain recipe or go to a certain place and eat a certain thing. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button below and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified every single time I post. All right, guys, thanks so much again. Happy Pi Day 3.14, March 14th. Woo! I hope that you will try this Shakshuka pizza recipe at home. And if you do, please comment in the description how it turned out for you. I will see you guys next week, and I have no idea what I'm gonna eat yet, but it's gonna be delicious. And happy almost St. Patty's Day. Love you guys. Bye.